a good time. Put a smile on your face, yeah. Can be Cam and Elation Radio. Even brighten your day and help you through the night. Bring you good music. Can be Cam and Elation Radio. And here's your host, Kimmy Kim.
The Beyond Defense family is a talented group of artists from all genres of music. From hip-hop to inspirational neo-soul, Beyond Defense was founded by artist and CEO David Benton, who had a simple vision to encourage people to truly go beyond their own fences. Since inception, the artists on the label have built a reputation for building communities and award-winning hits. Book Beyond Defense for your next gathering at www.beyonddefense.org. Beyond Defense, your one-stop shop to everything entertainment. BDF.
As I turn on my TV, looking at the news, another brother being gunned down, another one accused, a homeless mother with her 3 kids, with nowhere to go, another in the line of fire, ended up in the hospital, a father only being bullied in front of his kids, another sister being fired for just keeping it real. Dividing with screaming stop the violence, but how can I breathe with all of this in front of me? Can we unite the world with all? Can we unite the world? Can we unite the world with all the strife? Can we unite the world with all the strife? Can we unite the world? Can we unite the world with all the strife? The capital was
There you have it. Shay Samuels, Beyond the Fence in the building. David Benton. We can change the world if we just stick together. We did it. Yeah.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to Beyond the Radio Welcome to Beyond the Radio, and you better be smiling.
Beyond the fences in the building.
Yes, welcome right here Beyond the Radio. This your host, your main man, David Benton, and I am smiling. And you know what? I am in the building. That's right. Thank you for tuning in. That's right here every Sunday on the Elation Network at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We appreciate it. We do not take it for granted. That's right. Shout out to the Elation family. We love you. We love you. That's right. We appreciate y'all. So, we got a wonderful show for you guys tonight, and I hope you're ready. You know how we say every week. Listen, we know we prayed for it. We know we are covered. So by the time we come on, we can just go straight in. Why? Because we already know we're good. That's right. That's how it is right here on the Network of Relations. So with that being said, can I get a drum roll? The funny, the comedian, Tommy Two Toes, are you in the building?
I'm in the building, and I'm smiling. Coach David, how you doing? Coach?
Man, all is well, brother. All is well, man. Look, man, I have no complaints, man. How your week been, brother?
Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I was frowning this week, man. Something happened that I never thought was gonna happen, man. But I had left a prior engagement and went to the dollar store to get some, little toiletries. And I got accused of shoplifting, man. Accused of shoplifting. Hey, but look here, see, this is one of the few times I had on pants, because I have on shorts all year round no matter the weather, because, it's always summer for me below the knee, you know what I mean? So I'm walking around the store grabbing my little items, and I put an item under my arm because I had a lot of stuff in my hands and I didn't want to get no boogie. So they thought I was shoplifting. So next thing I know, I was like, look at here, sure y'all think I'm going to run off? You said, well, yeah, you might. I rolled up my legs, and then they had to apologize. I was like, hey, it's cool, but trust me, man, I got enough money to pay for everything. I got it, twice. So everything, I'm not going to steal from y'all. I promise. Not from the dollar store anyway, you know what I mean?
Right.
That was a little humbling experience, you know what I mean? But I was like, come on, man. I couldn't steal if I wanted to. They're going to catch me. I can't run. I don't have the tink legs, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, man. Other than that, it was great because I got a lot accomplished, man. I've been working on my future events, man, getting my material together because, I got some big things coming up. But that was a little bump in the road, man. I'm like, really shoplifting? No, I can't shoplift even if I wanted to. You know what I mean?
Right.
I can't
man,
get away.
But you know what? I'm going to tell you what's sad about this whole thing, man. Like, okay, you clearly got two prosthetics, but it took them to believe you based on your prosthetics. And I think, like, how us as a people are, man, the stereotype, the way we look at one another, man, it's just sad that, they would think such a thing, and you had to actually, that was your only proof. You know what I'm saying? Like, the proof is because you got two amputations, prosthetic legs, but then that's when they believed you based on that. And it's like,
man, I started laughing, man. I had to, man. But yeah, it's definitely wild. Because I was going to pull out my wallet, but I was like, I'm not going to flex on them like that. But I wanted to, but yeah, it is sad. It's very sad, but enough about that, man. Like you said, we got a great show tonight. And shout out to everybody who's listening. Shout out to the new listeners. We got a great show for y'all tonight, so y'all better enjoy, and y'all all better be smiling too.
Yes, that's right. You heard what the man said. You better be smiling, but we want to see your teeth. That's right. We want to see your teeth. We know, Coach Shay, she won't be on tonight.
Jay Samuels is in the building.
Oh, okay. You busted like Jesus' other brother, huh? All right, Coach Shay, we'll talk to you, Coach Shay.
Shay Samuels is in the building, and I'm smiling. Hey, Tommy Two Toes, I'm sorry to hear that you got busted, bro. I'm sorry you got busted. I knew you was going to get caught one day, though.
Yeah, it's cool, but hey, appreciate it. Hey, I thought you was out signing autographs because I know you on tour and stuff, so I thought you was signing autographs tonight.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Work is always work, and we do what we got to do no matter what. So I am in the building, and I'm always smiling.
Yeah,
Shout out to the Elation
right.
family and the Beyond the Fence family. And I'm ready for the show.
All right. So tonight, man, I was just thinking, I remember, Tommy Two Toes, when me and you had a conversation, man, and we were just talking about life in general. And then we started getting on the, belief system. And it just made me think, bro, and it's, out of all the topics, it was like, this topic, I think, would be very profound, for us to actually, put it out there to the show. So, because I'm pretty sure a lot of other people feel like this too. Like I see so many religions, and with these religions, man, it's terrible out here. Like the world is so separated based on religion, status. Like you got people who's execs. We look at people who's executives, versus the regular little workers. We ain't looking at them. We're looking at the status of this person or this famous person, Jay-Z or Kanye West versus the brother who work at the bank or this surgeon over here. They look at them because their status level. And it separates us, man, especially religion. I don't understand, like, it's sad to say, well, I do understand that's what we're going to break down, but it's so sad that someone can be a Muslim. And now if you find that that person is a Buddhist, they have a conflict. And, we see this all the time. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're sitting up here having this disagreement based on what they don't agree with, but it's so many things they can agree with. The Bible clearly says, let's get out of elementary teaching. So it's like, it's time to level up, man. It's like, let's get to a higher way of thinking about things. Like, it's called maturity, the maturity stage of that. Tommy Two Toes, so what you think about that part, brother?
Man, basically, everybody forgot about Rodney King. We can't get along no more, and it's over something that shouldn't be a problem, is what I'm trying to say, because, it's the same message, it's just in a different language, you know what I mean? Because the bottom line is, no matter what religion you have or you practice, it's basically doing to others as you want to be done too, you know what I mean? And it's not even anything to be taught. It's like natural to treat people right, I feel. But it's like a competition. My God is bigger than your God. And that's the way most people look at it. And they refuse to accept anybody for who they are. And I'm like, it's all different, but it's the same to me. That's the way I look at it. Like, hey, your guy just got a different suit on in a way. And so, that's the way I look at it. Because, I'm not going to frown upon you because you have your belief is under a different category or something. As long as you believe in something, then, hey, I salute you. And I mean, I just ended it at that because it's a waste of time for me to argue with you because we don't look alike and think alike. We're different people, so we're going to be different. But at the same time, we can still get along and still not think alike.
That's true.
I never understood that.
It's sad, bro, and it's like that's why tonight, you know what I'm saying, we want to get people to the maturity stage. And understand this, y'all. I am aware of, like, Tommy Two Toes, I think you said something very great. You know what I'm saying? He said, man, because it's supposed to be one God, right? And people have their own interpretation of this God. And I know a Christian is clearly going to say, well, they didn't have a God that rose from the grave. Our God is alive, and you know what I'm saying? He died and rose up. And I understand that part. But this is not based on that type of part of the. It's not based on that part of what we say religion. We're saying if a person is a Christian, a person is a Muslim, a person is a Buddhist, Catholic, a person who still practices Judaism, Hinduism, whatever this person chooses to follow, however they choose to navigate through this world and get to who we call God. Some people got other names for God. Why can't we be mature to respect everyone's belief? That's all I'm saying. We got to understand it's okay to be different. When we're going to come to that conclusion that it's okay to be different. It's okay to disagree. If you believe Jesus rose from the grave and this brother don't believe Jesus rose from the grave, you do not have to beat him down with your words using scripture that he clearly don't agree with. All you're doing, because here's the thing. When we do these type of things and be that immature in the faith, we're not elevating the people. We're only creating arguments, strife, anger. It's drawing people further away than bringing them forward. But what about if you do give a better word, a more encouraging word, and just speak their language? Paul said, I'll become one of those to gain a soul. The Bible says study to show thyself approved unto God. It didn't say study the Bible now. Understand that the Bible is 66 different books that was put together by human beings. It's the inspired word of God. So when are we going to get to a point to say, all right, let's study this, and then when you talk to somebody, you can empathize with them versus get upset with them. Tommy Two Toes. What you? I mean, brother.
Because what it is too, people are more concerned. People are more concerned with letting you know they know something instead of being the example of what they know. You know what I mean? Because if we, as a people, no matter what religion it is, be a witness to the God we serve instead of shooting knowledge left and right. Oh, this is what it says and this is what it means. Yes, that's a great thing to do as well, but it's more important to walk the walk instead of talk the talk. And so a lot of times it's just a lot of talking and it ain't enough walking. You know what I mean? Right. It's like as if we're trying to show like who's the biggest, who's the baddest. It's more based on showing out. It's more of a competition than a show up and show out.
Right, and that's Coach Shay, you want to expound on it?
I do. So the one thing that I was taking note of, David, was when you said in the beginning, why is it that people go from one religion and somebody go to another religion, they got beef with that person. And then Tommy Two Toes, what you were just talking about, I want to add that I don't think a lot of the Christian belief understands the dynamic that has been set. And so the two words that came to me when you said that, the first one was gang. And the definition of a gang is a group of society or associates, friends or members of a family with a defined leadership and internal organization that identifies with or claims control over a territory, which is the church, in a community and engages either individuals or collectively, but it says more, but it's for the gang part of it. But let's just say for that territory in the community. And so if you look at what we're talking about as far as Christianity, kind of set up like a gang. The question, why do people get upset when someone decides to move away from what we just said as a definition, is because they took an oath. And so whether it's Islam, whether it's Jewish, whether it's Christianity, even with Christianity, there's the prayer of salvation. It's an oath. So for me, my opinion would be that people get upset because you took an oath. And when you took that oath, this is who you said you were. And so because you took that oath, like a covenant. So you took that covenant, this is who you said you were. And so people don't know how to cross the line of barrier, which is what you were just talking about, David, as far as growth. Because as you begin to grow in any type of your life, which is talking about religion, you begin to see more, you begin to identify with more, you begin to have more questions, you begin to grow more. So Christianity may be the start of someone's journey. However, as they grow more and they begin to identify more, they'll begin to identify with what they are closest to. So that was what I wanted to say.
Yeah, that was definitely very, very profound, and I agree. You know, and it's the hard truth. You know, it is really set up like a gang. It is really a gang, whether we want to admit it or not. You got the pastor; he's the biggest homie. You know, he's the overseer. But then you got your assistant pastor. You know, he's the other big homie. You can't see me, you see him or her. You know, then you got your people with rank. You know, that's your missionaries, your evangelists, your deacons. You know, they gonna sit up there in the front. You know what I'm saying? You know, looking like they looking. But then you got the people in the pews. They the foot soldiers. They the ones go out and shoot everybody else out in the name of Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this is the church I go to. You know what I'm saying? And it's like 3 churches on one block and nobody ever fellowship together. I've seen it.
Yep.
I done seen where it's literally a building where it was like it was in Georgia, that it's like a little walker mall, look like it's like a walker mall, a bunch of little buildings, right? And it's like 3 or 4 churches in this same little department. I'm talking they share this big space, but it's 3 different entities. You know, they don't share it with each other at all. You know what I'm saying? So everybody go in, and I've seen people do it. Like, well, this is the church I go to. Well, this is the church I go to. Well, this is the church I go to. Everybody claiming they set. Just like Crips and Bloods, right? It's supposed to be one thing of Crips, but it's not. You got different Crip sets. You got different blood sets. I used to be a vice lord, and inside that vice lord, back in my days, it was 21 branches. Meaning it was different, 21 different names of vice lord. It's the same thing inside of Christianity. It's sad, but it's true. But the only time that Christians team up is when it's a whole different religion. You know what I'm saying? They team up against them. Oh, we can tell you how wrong you are. And it's time to get rid of those type of elementary teachings. It's time to mature. It's time to grow. And it's time to respect one another from where a person believes in and where they at in life. I just think it's necessary. Because really it's damaging. It's causing more damage than anything. You know, we keep arguing over religion. You know what I'm saying? We're arguing over religion. We're arguing on who the smartest. We're arguing about this. We're just arguing. And it's like, what point are you making? Like, if you, let's say you're right about what you're saying. Let's say you're completely right. Now that you're correct about what you're saying, has it benefiting this relationship between you and that person you disagree with? It didn't benefit. So there's no need for us to sit up there just because a person don't believe like you believe to make it feel like they're less valuable than you because you believe a certain way. That's what we shouldn't do because we're doing nothing but causing damage. Two toes.
Hey, I agree with everything you're saying. You're definitely right. Because all it's doing is putting a bigger fence between you and somebody else. Just because we're different doesn't mean that we can't get along. And matter of fact, broaden your horizons and just, I'm not saying agree, but just learn about somebody else and what they do. Because it's just like traveling.
Right.
We all do the same thing. We just got a different way of doing it. Just our own little, little spot, a little spice to it. So I'm like, hey, I want to know. I might not agree with you, but let me find out how you do your thing. I mean, I'm not going to serve the same God or maybe the way you serve him, but what teachings do you have on your end? Okay, that's understandable. Most people don't think that way though, for some reason, and that's the problem. We get set in their ways and thinking that our way is the only way, or at least, hey, what I know and what I was taught is all that matters, and I refuse to agree or like or even deal with somebody else that's not like me.
Mhm. Mhm. And that's what's going on, and it's doing nothing but separating. They don't mean you got to be best friends and hang out, but just empathize. Understand that that person have a right to feel or believe the way they want to, as long as they're not causing damage or harm to you. You can't get them to change their mind, and they're not trying to change your mind. So we should respect it. Coach Shay, you want to say anything before the break?
I do. So Tommy Two Toes, you were just saying about respecting everyone's religion and barriers, and Coach David, I hear you saying what you're saying regarding disagreeing and showing empathy and being, sensitive towards what the person believe or don't believe. I remember a long time ago, my ex-sister-in-law, who was Muslim at the time I met her, I remember asking her one day if I could pray with her. And she was really hard up. No. And I said, okay. I was kind of like, okay. I didn't want to disrespect what she believed. In fact, I told her afterwards, I said, if you were a person who was a detriment to society and you're now better because of your religion, who am I to judge how you got there, right? And then maybe 2 or 3 days later, she ended up calling me, and she said that was the first time that she ever heard anyone of the Christian faith, and this was a long time ago, actually say that. She said anyone that she would either be around as a Muslim or anyone that she would tell she was a Muslim, they would get offended in the Christian faith. And so I guess when we come back from the break, I want to talk a little bit more regarding why it's such a detriment, why you have to get so angry, why you have to get so frustrated regarding someone else's religion or what they believe, when in fact, if this person did cause harm to the community, if they were lying, if they were stealing, if they weren't good in the society you live in or the community, and it's now bettering them, wouldn't you rather see them being better and being productive than being a detriment to the community? So I wanted to share that too, just as some light on how if you are a little bit sensitive and graceful towards the difference, it actually made me look into the Bible does say study that show thyself approved. And so I did read into the Quran after that, and I read there's some of the same principles, and they may be different in some ways, but it wasn't anything to harm me. Coach David?
That's a reality. I also studied the Quran for years, and people gotta understand. I done read the Kabbalah. I done read a lot of books, but it was to educate myself because I didn't want to put people down, especially when somebody's striving to live righteous as they see fit. You know what I'm saying? Or how God is in their life. So I'm here to be, you know what I'm saying, loving upon them, not a hindrance. That ain't what it's about. We should never be a hindrance to one another. Just keep encouraging one another, and But with that being said, it's halftime. So where the music at? Where the music at?
Where the music at? Where the music at?
Going beyond the fence. Look at yourself in the mirror. Yeah. Look at yourself in the mirror. Boy, David Benton. Yeah, I love you, boy. You like what you see? I love you, Kenny. Love yourself. So beyond the fence. It's David Benton. Love yourself. Let's go beyond the fence. I love you. Yeah. It's for my killers, gangbangers, chain slangers, chain danglers, game changers who ain't famous, pill takers, syrup drinking the great flavor. I repent, miss us again 8 days later. I stay praying, I done been through the same danger. A great savior giving love to replace anger, dirty feet, got some weed from across the street. Obviously, you wanna be where all the boss be. Cop the G, cock the heat, swagging out the G, gotta need the whole your image fame. Not for free, cop the key, conspiracy got me, cop the plea, had to realize inside prison, not for me. Went from hooping in college to moving on college, bought me a deuce in the quarter, to recouping them dollars. Now I'm shooting for knowledge, while recouping my partners. You schooling the Bible like you are a scholar. I never give up on you, salute to the you. You shoot, he shoot, usually everybody lose. The proof is the eulogy of cell 22. I'm a cube in the feds, read pursuing true religious views. Got it divided in the pews. Christ is the king of the Jews. You got a right to choose. I got a right to change. Had to rewrite my name. My mind frame is changed. Now I don't fight the same. Stand there for women and protect and serve. Respect and serve. More than being blessed with curves. Salute to the father. Spending old check from work. Girl, focus on child support. Don't even respect your work. She on a second birth. Relationship was just sex. What's next? And then you gotta take a blood test. Enough stress. Now you smoking a pack a day. Relax and pray. Hold my wings. You about to fly away. That 90s flow. Take it back. Yeah. This American nation, full of fakers, drug dealers, and rapists, thug killers, and racists. Operated by Satan, dominated by hatred. It's a struggle to make it, so we hustle and take it. Love a brother who say it, and do it cause it's steady. Stress will kill you, let it better than I swear it forever. Even though it's hard to forget it, do you get it? I got it. Government killing my body, stealing my wallet. War costs millions of dollars, he's an imposter. Gotta be smart in this war, president. Don't wanna fight. What he starting it for? Here's talking we all. They need no love with the citizens or children who innocent. Malnutrition is killing them. My feelings hurt. That's why I'm willing to work when you visit the hearse. It's when you live in the dirt. So why I'm living on earth. I will do my part for this nation. Hold my feet aside, even in a tight situation, cause I believe in you. Yeah. It's your boy David Benton. Hey yo, Shay. It's time to go beyond the fence. Life is so good. It's so good. Yeah. A merry heart do it's good like a medicine, but a broken spirit dries the bones, you know. Yeah.
World's greatest DJ.
It's about 8 in the morning, I'm just waking up. Got the Folgers on brew, about to fill my cup. While I'm looking out the window, the sun come up. I'm good. It's about 8 in the morning, I'm just waking up. Got the Folgers on brew, about to fill my cup. While I'm looking out the window, at the sun come up. I'm good. I'm about to get my day started. Off to work, about to make some dollars. If only you knew what I've been through, you would smile and say that I'm good. I got a good job, I'm good. And my bills are paid, I'm good. And my family's good, my health is good. I thank God that I'm good. I got a good job, I'm good. And my bills are paid, I'm good. I got food on the table, I know that he's able. Thank God I'm good. God, I'm good. I thank God I'm good.
hate. When we're ignorant grace, so intimate place, your heart of innocence make a life different break. This whole sin and the sinning, cause the enemy hate. You are the sun, stars, and the moon. You are that beam of light when it's dark in the room. When I depart from the womb, you're the air that I breathe. Always there when I need you, preparing for peace. You're so good.
I got a good job, I'm good, and my bills are paid out, and my family's good, and my health is good. I thank God that I got a good job, I'm good, and my bills are paid out. I got food on the table, I know that He's able. Thank God I'm good. I got a good job, I'm good, and my bills are paid out, and my family's good, my health is good. I thank God that I'm so good, so good, so good, so good. Lord, you've been so good to me. Yes, you have. I'm telling you, Lord, you've been so good to me.
Welcome to Beyond the Radio.
Welcome to Beyond the Radio, and you better be smiling. Beyond the fence is in the building.
That's right. Yeah. Welcome back to Beyond the Radio. I'm your co-host, Coach Shay Samuels, and I'm in the building with your host, your main man, Coach David Benton, and the BDF Beyond the Radio comedian, Tommy Two Toes. The two songs that you just heard, the first song was by David Benton. The second song, I'm Good, by Shay Samuels, and you can get those songs on any outlet, any digital outlet today. Go get them. If we do need to give a great big shout out to our sponsors, can we give a great big shout out to Apology Voice, Lady Wisdom After Midnight? If you heard the voiceover at the beginning, that was Apology Voice. You hear her every Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're a radio host, radio program director, if you are a music director, if you have a business and you are trying to complete a training, we want you to look Apology up at apologyvoice.com, apologyvoice.apology.com, or apologyvoice.com, and let her know that the Beyond the Fence family sent you. Let me say the email address again, paula@apologyvoice.com or apologyvoice.com. We do need to give a great big shout out to the Beyond the Fence DJ G Will. G Weezy is what I call him. If you are looking in the surrounding area of Knoxville or Tennessee as a surrounding area, or online events. Look, he just did a event for fitness. If you're a fitness trainer and you want to add a DJ, a live DJ to your event, look up DJ G Will at Beyond the Fence 1@gmail.com. You can contact us there, and you can also look him up at William G. Will Faulkner on Facebook, or just reach him on the Beyond the Fence page at BEYONDAFENCE. That's ENT on Facebook. Last but not least, David, can I get a drum roll? Let's Talk Business Consulting Strategy and Coaching Group, LLC, taking training to the next level. That is what we do. If you are a new business or an existing business and you're looking to do something different with your business, let's talk. Listen, we have added so many portfolios and platforms to our business. Look us up on Facebook at Let's Talk Business Consulting Group and on Instagram at LTB Consulting Group and on YouTube at Let's Talk Business Consulting Group, so you can see everything that we have going on. I do need to give a great big shout out to our recruiters that are out there and listening tonight. They are out there recruiting you for our workshops. Take advantage of our $99 monthly exclusive membership. You can get more information about that at the Let's Talk Business Facebook page, and make sure you visit us on the Beyond the Radio Facebook page as well at Beyond the Radio. Coach David, back to you.
Well, thank you for that, Coach Shay. Thank you, and shout out to all the sponsors. We do not take nobody for granted. We greatly appreciate it. If you're just tuning in for the second half of Beyond the Radio, we were talking about, basically, why do we argue over religion? Why do we argue over religion? Why are we upset or we at odds where we're beefing, where we're actually going to war on something based on belief? And I think it's so unfair because when I was in federal prison, I met guys who were born in the Eastern world. And some of them was, literally Saudi Arabia, somebody in Saudi Arabia. If you was born there, majority of the time, most likely you're going to be a Muslim. That's just how it goes. That's their culture. That's what it is over there. That's how you was birthed. That's how you was born. Most of us are born into a certain system or belief. And, your family, your parents, they're going to tell you, hey, man, let's go to this mosque. Hey, let's go to this church. But you grew up, and all of us are programmed to believe how we are designed to believe according to the people we trusted the most, our parents. So if I have a brother who's a Muslim and he's living in righteousness, great guy, responsible, great credit score, awesome person, loving, forgiving, and will help you, will give you his last if it's necessary, and is a loving and genuine person. And all you got was greatness from this person's, being. And you guys was friends all the way up until you find out that this brother, who's genuine with a beautiful spirit, you find out he's a Muslim. We won't be as close with that person no more. We feel we unequally yoked there. Because the Bible says, get away from the people of the world. We thinking that everybody in the world. When the world is your mindset, you doing what you should not do. And that's being like you're not respecting a person for being themselves. We all have a right to believe and think how we want to, but we never should quarrel over it because it's not going to get us anywhere. If that person was born in Afghanistan and they're Muslim, how are you going to tell them how wrong they are when you was born a certain way too through your parents' belief? That just won't make sense. So we're trying to get you to have a paradigm shift. We're trying to help you understand that we all, 8 billion people on the planet, and that's 8 billion people see the world through their own lenses. We all see the world how we choose to see the world. So if a person is nearsighted and the other person is farsighted, this person that's nearsighted can buy that other person some glasses, right? They could be $100,000 pair of glasses. Then that person put them glasses on, and then you're like, man, it's blurry. I can't really see it. But this other person like, oh, man, you are ungrateful. I paid $100,000 for them glasses. What you mean you can't see them? I can see through them perfectly. Well, here's the difference. That person is nearsighted, and you are farsighted. I don't care how much the glasses are. The lenses are not the same, and you're holding them accountable for not seeing the world the way you see the world, which is not right at all. That's what we're doing to one another every single day. and it's sad, and it's time to mature. It's time to go to a maturity stage. Coach Shay, you want to expound on that? Or Tommy Two Toes? Tommy Two Toes, you want to expound on that?
I'm gonna go ahead. I can definitely.
I was actually on mute. I apologize. I'll say it after Tommy Two Toes.
I disagree with. I agree with what you're saying, Coach David. You know, it's time to think differently. I mean, it's not even think differently, but basically be a lot more accepting. Because the bottom line is, if a person's positive, you know, they're not harming themselves or anybody else, then so be it. Because if your religion is making you a better person, then I salute you. And you in your religion. And if more people thought like that, the world would be a better place.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's really just coming to a maturity stage. Go ahead, Coach Shay.
Yeah, so, yeah, I agree with you, Coach David. It's all about maturity, especially when dealing with people, as you are talking about, like the religions. The second word that I was going to say on the second word I mentioned on the first half, I mentioned gang and then oath, and I wanted to save oath for the second half. But oath is a solemn promise, often invoking a divine witness regarding one's future action or behavior. And then the sentence for it says they took an oath of allegiance to the king. And so in different religions, everyone takes an oath, an allegiance, if you will. And there are some that are a little bit more aggressive than others. And so, like I said, I've had interactions with Muslims. They don't have a problem with talking to Christians. In fact, I've had conversations with Buddhists who don't have a problem with talking with Christians. I've had conversations with people of different religions. 7-day Sabbath. You guys realize that there are so many different religions just in the celebration of Sabbath keepers. And so there's so many who celebrate things differently. They worship differently. They worship separately. And at times I always wondered, like, what was going on there. But the thing that really, really captures why we have so much conflict is this oath. I don't think that we take it, I think we take it lightly, because when we get up there as a body of believers, quote unquote, as a body of believers, you know, the first thing they do is they say this prayer of salvation, right? Mm-hmm. And then they say this prayer of salvation. But if we go back to oath, again, it says it's a solemn promise of often invoking a divine witness regarding one's future actions or behaviors. So I don't think people realize that when you're saying the prayer of salvation, you're starting to identify with future actions or behaviors. And so we're not truly holding ourselves accountable. I'll put the prayer of salvation up on the Beyond the Radio page so you guys can read it. But when you do the prayer of salvation, you're basically saying that from this day forth, this is what my behavior is going to be. Instead, I think Tommy Two Toes said it. Instead, what happens is we forget the prayer of salvation. We forget why we're doing what we're doing, and we become clicked up with what we call the church. So when I was in nursing school, and I don't know, David, I know that you do welding, so I don't know if you did this, but when I was in nursing school, they taught me one way. But when I got on the floor, I had the foundation of what I was taught, but I did things the way that others did it there. They told me, this is the way you do it. This is the easiest way. I know they showed you this in school, but this is how you're going to get your rooms done quicker. This is how you're going to get this medication out sooner. This is how you're going to get this blood work done. And so I negated what I learned in school. I had the foundation of it, but because I ended up getting in with other people were able to change the dynamic of what I was taught, and I ended up making it something that I was taught on the floor. So if they would say you can be taught on the floor quicker than you could be taught in school. But that's how church has become. So you come in for a cause, a reason, some type of defect in your life. You end up giving yourself, saying this oath, which is the prayer of salvation, and somehow getting caught up in the first word that I talked about, this gang, this clique, because they're silos in the church as well. So there's a group of people that sit on one side, and it's another that sit on the other. And these people don't talk even in the church. And so it's hard for people to identify with that. Lastly, I want to say I don't know much about the Crips and the Bloods and the Vice Lords. I don't want to say that. But I do know that it's going to be hard for one group or person to go to another and survive. Go ahead, Coach David.
So when we talk about this oath thing, an oath or a creed or whatever a person is held, you know, they hold this oath to a high standard. They hold this creed to a high standard. And I'm going to tell you, it's really like if you go to your Bible and they talk about how Abraham, you know, Abram, at the time, Abram, he grew up in, you know, his father, you know, it was a idol worship, right? But I'm going to tell y'all now, see, this is what, when you study to show thyself approved unto God, when you study, watch this. The Quran actually breaks it down a little bit better when it comes to that story, because I'm going to tell you what the Quran says. The Quran says that Abram's father was making, you know, they was making these idol gods. They was making them, and then, you know, Abram came in like, man, why how we gonna worship gods that we're making? Like, we're making this God, so aren't we more powerful than this God if we can just break it? You know what I'm saying? That's what he was saying in the Quran, right? So it's like, wow, like that makes sense. You know, we're taking this oath and creating it as that same idol. We're worshiping something that's really we're creating. See, we're not doing what thus saith the Lord or what Jesus said, right? What we're doing is going on the oath. And guess what? It's based on the church. It ain't even based on Christianity. Because that's why so many different sects of Christianity. You got thousands of sects of Christianity. Why? Because it's not even based on really it ain't even based on salvation. It's really based on the gang mentality. It's really the oath of the church. Everybody repping their church. And you only come together and rep your religion when somebody else have a different religion than you. But here's the thing. If you're not creating this little God, because you don't have to take up for a God that's that great. That God will take up for you. If you believe like you say you believe, if your God is that big, you do not have to take up for God. You got to understand that God going to take up for you. So when somebody tell you that they disagree, that you believe, you know what I'm saying, with Jesus rising from the grave, like, well, all right, you disagree. That's fine. I mean, how can that hurt you? Keep it pushing. Because remember, God got you. God got you. So why would you participate in foolishness if you're the one supposed to be led by the Holy Ghost? So you're definitely supposed to show more character then. But why not hold yourself to a higher standard? When you hold yourself to a higher standard, you will understand you're really going to be led by this Holy Ghost. And when people disagree with you or tell you that they believe you are wrong, which they should be mature too, but then you participate into the foolishness. And to be honest, it's a lot of times I see the Christians starting it. That's just reality. Well, I don't believe the way. I don't believe that way. I don't believe that way. I don't believe that way. And they preaching hell. It's more discouraging. So if you feel you have all the answers to heaven, then you should walk in that authority in love. And if you want to say you really like Christ, well, you read that Bible thoroughly in the New Testament, y'all. Jesus didn't have time to be arguing with the Pharisees and the Sadducees all day, and they was around. He said one thing. He got on top of the hill. Everybody know the speech before he died. You know, he gave the speech. That was to everybody though. He didn't rebuke them every 5 minutes. They was around the whole time. He just continued to say he's about his father's business. So when you about your father's business, if you know, then why would you argue? That doesn't make sense. You should be the bigger person anyway. If you want them to follow Christ, if somebody's in error, show them how to do it by your character. And that's my closing for that. You know, I hope y'all is blessed. Tommy Two Toes, you have any closing statements, my brother?
Yeah, I got some closing statements. Embrace change. And remember this, I'm gonna alter the scene. I'm gonna alter the scene a little bit, but what someone else eats doesn't make you full. So just because they eat something a little different, let them do that. If it's not hurting you and it's not hurting them, they all right where they are.
Absolutely. Coach Shay, you want to end?
Yeah, I love that you said. Yes, Coach David, I love that you said that we all see the world a bit differently. We see the world through different lenses. And if we can see that for one another, we can see that as a body. If we can see it even for different religions, there's a reason why someone is practicing what they're practicing. It doesn't mean that they're not human beings. It doesn't mean that they don't have feelings. It doesn't mean that they don't have emotions. It doesn't mean that they also don't go through trials. They don't go through tribulations. So I would just say take it easy on those people. If you see somebody that's not practicing what you practice, I love what you said, Tommy Two Toes. Find out more about it. Practice, study to truly show yourself approved. The thing I used to do when my daughters were younger, I used to listen to radio stations just to see what they were listening to. I wanted to know what else was out there. And I think sometimes as believers, we don't want to see what else is out there. We keep our minds so saturated on proving everybody else wrong. We keep our minds saturated on trying to, Coach David and I, we say y'all treat God like he's your OG, taking up for the OG. And there's so much out there, especially in this day, in this time. The children are gravitating. There's social media. There's internet, things that we didn't have before. So they're learning so much more out there. How do you stay in tune to what else is out there if you only keep yourself and your mind saturated on one thing? But if someone else decides to choose a different type of religion, if they choose a different way of life, if they choose another walk, another journey, pay attention to their character. Tommy Two Toes, you said it. What's their character? How are they acting towards you? How are they acting towards the people around you? And again, the Bible that we read says in Matthew, and by their fruit you shall know who they are. So know the person's fruit before you start judging the religion. That's my closing, Coach David.
Well, I appreciate it. Great show, Coach Shay, Tommy Two Toes, man, another great show. We appreciate you guys tuning in right here on the Elation Network, Beyond the Radio. Shout out to the whole Beyond the Fence family, everybody, man. Shout out to our new artist, Major Life, and Primo the Don, man. Shout out to Blockstar, Miss Alma E. Neely. Y'all pray for Miss Alma E. Neely and her sister. That's right. Just do it. Shout out to G. Will, the Jewel, DB Jr. Man, we love y'all. So with that being said, where the music at? Where the music at?
Where the music at? Where the music at?
Where the music? Where the music? Beyond the fence.
Beyond the fence.
Beyond the fence. Beyond the fence. Benton. DB Jr.
Yes, sir. I got you.
True, too.
You know I got you.
The Jewel.
Broski, you know I had to fly in on this one.
G. Will.
You know what it is.
You didn't see it coming like this, did you? The bigger they are, the harder they fall. My problems, God slaughtered them all, the harder I ball. Fighting like a scared cat, with her back against the wall. Slip, but I didn't fall. I adapted to the fall. Ignorance, I've been through it. That's why I don't want you to do it. I want to influence, it's already proven. You can be feeling but you just come at the land of the ruin. Who are we fooling? What are we proving? What are we doing? What are we building? What are we giving to some of our children? Built a team, not just the industry thing. We do more than this rapper scene. Beyond fence, the family tree with the queen. We choose to worship with the king. And we protect the women by any means. And our children on everything.
Through the years, I want my own fight, no lie. Thinking everything is alright. Turn around and see my father in the light. Back in 03, that changed my whole life. Deceiving, one for the one, mother believing. Don't put on a life, I'm weeping. They say things happen for a reason. I'm believing, we're fleeing. Still off with you like I'm bleeding. I'm in the probation taking. Structures in my life still needed. Same friends, I'm a no case here. In the back to the past, got leaving. I'm a dance of mind, I'm pleasing. First, the procrastinate meeting. A bird of homies down in the heated. Said I'm a loser, I say that I'm meaning. I'm independent, my life was a cheater. That's fine, I was losing. Was needed, but Colorado all still. Receive it never stops, and I know I keep preaching once I twice. I never will be this smooth the floor. I won't be defeated.
Swag so magnificent, due to the omnipotent. Yes, you know it's heaven sent. Call me George Jefferson. I'm walking in your glory if I keep my eyes focusing. Never turn away from the one who first loved me, man. I go by G Will, I'm in the building, man. Good looking on the head off, the game just advanced. My focus so clearly beyond 2020. Thanks to BDF, there's a new addition to the family.
What I got in my music, principle, purpose, so much that they use it. Bruise it, the proving, no way that I'm losing. Something I do, supposed to delusion. The BDF revolution. Wake up, ain't no more illusion. Concept to the union, we appreciate your contribution. Awaken us, sleep in time, define how bad it hurts. Conduct with metal, touch it, everything they do is in love. Bring it together for the better men. Bring it together, be better men. All of the people in children. Graduate old school veterans. Take over the nation, Taliban. Hold up the world with one hand. Shoot through the vision, it's intense. Looking at watching beyond the vision.
We are beyond nothing. We are beyond nothing.
What was this one? I've seen I've been drafted. Armor's been fitted and heavily crafted. Run to the battle through fire, I blast. I do this for real. Pretenders is tragic. Do this a classic. Read the back of the book, there's a test and I easily pass it. All the sacrifice of training, the blood and the tears when I laugh it. Yeah, I'm a cast. I wanna speed it up. The label say slow it down. I skip my medication, tripolars traveling the speed of sound. I'm lost and now I'm found. Love you on the way up and they hate you on the way down. And it's never about the setting, it's the jewels that's in your crown. Touch.
We are